You ever notice how your fast food bill has been getting kind of high lately? Well, today we're going to dig into something people are calling the McRecession. This wild idea that a simple burger and fries might actually be turning into a luxury item.
Yeah, it's a feeling I think we've all had pretty recently. You pull up, you order the usual, and then they tell you the total, and you just kind of pause for a second and think, wait, for real? How much?
And you're not imagining things. You're definitely not alone in feeling that sticker shock. It's actually pointing to this huge shift in what used to be one of the most reliable, affordable parts of our lives. So, what's really going on here?
To really get what's happening now, we have to rewind a bit. We got to remember what fast food always stood for. It was all built on the very simple, very straightforward promise to every single one of us. And at the heart of it was this thing called the fast food value proposition. The deal was super simple. You're busy, you're short on time, and for just a few bucks, you could get a meal that was filling and, dependable. It was this perfect exchange of dollars for calories. Predictable, cheap, and easy. But that promise, it's starting to break. We've hit this major turning point, what's being called the McRecession, where that entire idea of value is really being put to the test. I mean, think about it. Just a decade ago, fast food was the undisputed king of cheap eats. You fast forward to today, and the numbers are just stunning. On average, prices have literally doubled. That's not just a little bump. That's a whole new ballgame. And look, this isn't just, oh, everything's getting more expensive. Sure, inflation is a real thing, but the price hikes for fast food have just blown past the general rate of inflation. Now, there are a bunch of reasons why this could be happening. Labor costs, ingredients costing more, or maybe just companies wanting bigger profits. But whatever the cause, something unique is definitely going on right here in the fast food world. So yeah, it's not just a feeling you have. The data backs it up. The cost of that combo meal has been on an absolute rocket ship, leaving regular inflation way, way behind. And the really important question is, what is this doing to us? The people actually buying the food. Which, of course, brings us to the fallout. When something so fundamental changes this fast, people don't just take it. They react, they adapt, and they start to fight back with their wallets. I mean, that's the big question, right? When the one thing that made fast food so famous, its value, just kind of disappears, what do you do? Well, the answer is pretty eye-opening. People are basically rewriting their own rule books. A lot of folks are just cooking at home more often. Some are still hitting the drive-thru, but maybe not as much. But the most shocking part of the story really comes from that third group. Okay, let's just stop and think about that number for a second. 25%. For a full quarter of people, it is now a better financial move to just skip a meal entirely than it is to buy what used to be one of the cheapest, easiest options out there. That is a massive, massive change. So what this has done is kick off what you could call a new value war. On one side, you've got fast food. It still wins on convenience, no doubt about it, but it's getting crushed on price. On the other side, you have home cooking. Sure, it takes more time and effort, but it is now the clear winner on affordability. So now we're all forced to choose. What's more important to us, our time or our money? So where does all this leave us? Well, it forces us to ask a question that honestly would have sounded completely ridiculous just a few years ago. Is fast food becoming a luxury? It sounds dramatic, I know, but for a lot of people, this is the new reality. What used to be an everyday, easy-on-the-wallet staple is now being treated like a special occasion purchase. An occasional treat, the same way you might have thought about going out for a nice steak. The humble burger is playing a totally new role in our lives. So let's just recap. We've seen prices double, soaring way past inflation. We're seeing people make really tough new choices, like cooking more, or for some, even skipping meals. The entire idea of value, the very foundation this industry was built on, is now at a crossroads. And that kind of leaves us with this one last thought. Fast food has always been more than just food. It's a piece of our culture, a symbol of convenience and accessibility for everyone. So what does it mean for all of us when that symbol starts to mean something else entirely? What happens when the value meal just isn't a value anymore? It's definitely something to think about.